Okay, so it's been a year almost since we finished filming the last documentary.
Yes, I've not spoken to you for about a year now. What's happened? I've been an eventful, exciting year. The last time I saw you was when I just met Vicky, and that didn't work out. I took a week's holiday. I went to Egypt for a week, and while I was out there, ended up doing a bit of coaching and the usual thing, helping people and chatting to people. And the one comment that I kept getting from anybody was, you know, why are you not going to compete anymore when you look like that? So I came back from there. There was one regional qualifier for the British finals, and it was 4 weeks away. So I did 4 weeks preparation, and that was for the Midlands Championships, and I won it, UK BFF Midlands Championships, and I won it on 4 weeks prep, which has amazed me. The British final was 2 weeks later. Didn't win that, but you're not going to win a British final on 6 weeks prep. The week after that, I did another show where I placed fourth, and then I did one more show about 2 weeks ago, which was the Stars of Tomorrow, and I won that. Quite ironic to win a show called Stars of Tomorrow, really, but they don't do one called Stars of Yesterday. So there you go. And the trophy's up here. Trophy cabinets are full up again now, so I've had to put them up there for the time being. So yes, an eventful year, but all good, and it's all worked out quite nicely. What with that and a huge amount of coaching, so it's been a good year.
You're doing this second part of the documentary as a continuation of what happened, but you just like to encourage people in their lives in what they do.
Very much so, yeah. The feedback that we've had from the first documentary has been astounding. Without exaggerating, I would say I've had over 1,000 contacts, usually emails or messages on YouTube or just nice comments on YouTube. And in all of those, I can say I had one negative comment come back to me. Everybody has been of the same opinion. Thank you very much for being so honest. Thank you very much for opening my eyes to what really goes on. In 99% of the cases, they'll start off with, you look great, all complimentary, and then they'll go on and ask for something, which is fine. That's what I'm here for. I'm very happy to give advice and do that for people.
What specific contacts you had linked with the community channel broadcast?
I've had mostly emails. All emails from people that I think they watched the programme on there, Google my name, and then go through the website and email me. A huge amount of feedback. It's so diverse, good and bad. Let me tell you the bad thing first. The thing that's been a real eye-opener for me and also massively disappointing. That is the amount of youngsters, I'm talking of teenagers, that are taking or want to take steroids. I knew that there was a lot doing it, but it's absolutely crazy the amount of people that I've had, youngsters, contacting me and saying they are taking steroids or would I advise them on steroids. And I very politely say to them, I have what I call the 10-year rule. If someone's going to take up bodybuilding, I insist that they do 10 years drug-free to reach a plateau. I mean, I did 22 years drug-free because I'm what they call a hard gainer. I say a minimum of 10 years completely drug-free and see how far you can get. By that time, you're going to be, 20s, late 20s, 30s. You're old enough then to make a decision about whether you want to start taking hard drugs, because steroids are hard drugs. Let's not make any mistake about that. It's not just for the bodybuilding either. A lot of these youngsters take them because they want to do door work or because they want to look good in the nightclubs. And, in all cases, I'd say, I can't help you with that. But if you want to stay drug-free, I'm very happy to help you with diet, with training or any other advice. And again, I've not had anybody come back and sort of say, well, you shouldn't be that way. Everybody's been like, totally respect your principles. And there have been one very recently, this week, as you know, because I sent you the emails, I won't say the guy's name. He was 19, he sent me some pictures and I was amazed, he looked incredible. I'm not sure he was from actually, I don't think he's from England, black guy, I'm not sure what country he's from, I couldn't work out from his email address. Looked amazing, and he sent me an email saying, this is how I look and I'm going to compete next year. And I've got my steroids ready, and I was like, are you mad? And I sent him back a very polite email, again, telling him the 10-year rule, telling him that I thought he looked incredible, and if you look that good at 19 without taking anything, why on earth would you start taking them? And he thought about it for a couple of days, and he came back to me and he said, "Kev, you're absolutely right." He said, "I never thought of it that way." And it was emotional for me. I tell you, it brought a tear to my eye that I could actually do that for somebody. And I really hope the guy goes on and does well. And I left it with him saying, "I'm so pleased, you made me so happy. Please keep in touch. Please let me know if I can help with your diet, with your training, anything at all." Because people like that have actually, got on the straight and narrow and decided to do things the hard way, then I've got all the time in the world for them, and I'm more than happy for them. More than happy to help them as much as I possibly can.
One of the people that I contacted through one of your emails saw the community channel broadcast and wanted to lose weight, and then was hoping to help his mother with a transplant.
Yeah, as I said, they've been very diverse. The particular one you're talking about, again, I'm not going to say any names. He's been going to the gym for many years. Doing mostly powerlifting. Now, powerlifting is a different sport to bodybuilding. A lot of respect for powerlifters, but it does tend to make you overweight. The diet and the way you train makes you overweight. He is quite a bit overweight. Next year he's getting married, and he's also going to give his mum one of his kidneys. And I was like staggered. He said to me, "Look," he said, "I need to get into certain condition, need to lose certain weight. I need to change certain things about my life. Before I get married, but more importantly, before I'm healthy enough to give my mum a kidney." And we're doing some work together now. I think we've got about 6 months to do it. So we're on a 6-month program. We're going to do that. I was just absolutely gobsmacked that somebody would trust me to do something like that. It meant the world to me. And as I say, we're doing some work together. He's not the only one that's been a little bit different, from the ordinaries. I had another one of a lady get in touch with me. She's in her 40s now. Again, I'm not going to say any names. She sends me long emails telling me about, yes, this is working and that's working. I'm feeling a bit better, and it really is baby steps. But then she put one thing, and she put, "In all the years that I've been ill," she said, "you're the only person that's taken me seriously and has really done something to help, and then I'm really getting some results out of it." It meant the world to me that I could do that for somebody. This is somebody that I'll never ever meet. She lives hundreds of miles away. I'll never ever meet her, but to think that I can do that for somebody just meant the world to me. And it all came just because she was watching the program on the community channel, and took a gamble, like many of them do. They just say, "Look, saw you on the television. Know you probably get lots of people contact you. I'll understand if you don't even reply." He was very, very polite, and it stood out to me. But I do reply to everyone eventually. I'm sorry. Sometimes it takes me a long time. I'm always very busy, but I always get back to everyone. Apart from the begging letters, I get back to everyone straight, as soon as I can. I'm also amazed at, I'm not going to say stupidity and ignorance, I'm going to call it naivety, to be polite. The naivety of the amount of people that get in touch with me, who are not happy with the way they look, quite rightly, because they look a mess, yet they're not prepared to do what it takes. They're not prepared to make the commitment to change. They will talk to me about their diet, and I will tell them what they've got to do, and basically that that they're not going to take any notice of it, and it kind of annoys me really, because this is advice that I'm giving for free. I often think to myself, people sit and ask me like 100 questions, and then kind of disregard a lot of the advice I'm giving them, and I often think to myself, well, perhaps if I was to charge them £1 a question, would they disregard the advice so easily then? So that's a bit annoying. People don't seem to realise just what it takes to get to the standard that they're looking for. The amount of people that think that they can do it, that they can get big and small at the same time, that's the thing that makes me laugh. They say, I want to be bigger, but I want to be cut up. And I said, well, you can't get bigger and smaller at the same time. It means, as we said in the last show, you've got to get big to get ugly. You've got to get ugly to get big for 6 months, and then you die at night. And a lot of people won't have that. And I don't understand why it is they don't see it.
Well, basically I started competing back in 2011, and at my first show I actually met Kevin. He was getting someone else ready for a show, and basically he had a word with me afterwards and said that I've got a lot of potential, and he said he wanted to take me on, and so basically I thought okay, and I started to train with Kev, and he started to give me a lot more advice on my nutrition and where I needed to improve.
One of the things that I'd like to ask, I understand you're a fitness instructor. How can Kevin help you more with what you're doing when you've actually qualified yourself?
Yeah, so I mean I've got a level 2 qualification, and so and I do a bit of fitness instructing. But what Kev gives me is that extra drive and extra motivation that I need. So when I'm in the gym training on my own, I kind of know the basic things on how to diet. But Kev's got that experience, and he's been in the industry for so long. And with his experience, I feel like I can push myself to that next level. And he knows how to push me to the limits, especially in training.
What's been your hardest lesson?
Hardest lesson? We did a leg session one time, and Kev really put me to pieces. He made me throw up at least 3 times. I had to go outside between sets.
And what he says is absolutely true. We did a leg session, and he was sick 3 times. 3 times during the workout, he got up, walked away, went to the toilet, was sick, but 3 times he came back and carried on, and that's the bit. And as soon as he'd done that, I knew I wanted to work with him, because that proved that he had it. And most people would have given up after 1 or 2, but he came back, and at the end of it, he couldn't actually walk. It was that bad. We had to sit down for a good half an hour before he could even walk again. But I knew then that I wanted to work with him, because he showed, I knew then that he had what it takes, and that's the dedication that you need. We spoke, didn't we? I said the amount of people that can talk about wanting to do this, but the amount of people that actually walk it is very few. But he's one that will do it. I'm very proud of him, very proud of everything he's achieved this year. I'm absolutely confident that he's going to go on and become a 70 kilos champion next year, no doubt about it.
And you compete in like the natural?
Yeah. Well, I made a promise to my parents when I got into this, and they said make sure you don't go on any drugs or anything. And I said, well, I'm going to keep it that way. And Kev's actually made sure that I've stayed natural, and that's how I want to be, and that's how I feel comfortable.
I was just thinking, what are the key things that you've learned from Kevin that have really altered your training?
I think what Kevin has brought to me is the intensity and the amount of hard work that I need to put in order to get the results. It's not a case of just going to the gym and just doing your session and going home. It's about really pushing yourself to the limits, and Kev's definitely shown me that and taking me to that next level. And that's what you need to do in order to get far in this industry. You need to really be able to put in the hard work and put in 110%. You know, the amount of times I've had to get up early in the morning, do my cardio, do everything, and having Kev around there is that extra support that, you know, really does get you through the process, and I wouldn't have been able to do it without him, really.
I think the key word is intensity. You'll see some people go to the gym and they'll mess around for hours, spend half the time talking. We don't. We get in the gym, we're there on business, we get the work done in an hour. You know, 1 hour's weight training, and at the end of that hour, it's all you can do to stand up, and that's what it's about, intensity. That's the key word.
The first time I actually found out about Kevin was watching him on a TV documentary on television, and I was so impressed by, you know, his training and his, you know, ambition that I wanted to then sort of find more information. So I found more, went on the website and had a look at his profile, and I was hooked from there. I thought, right, I need to find this guy.
And you actually really live quite close together, don't you?
Yeah, not too far, but we didn't know that at the time. I actually thought I was emailing somebody abroad, had no idea where he lived, and coincidentally we live quite close together, so that's handy.
And and what are your plans? Was it just literally seeing on the community channel that really
pretty much, to be honest. I mean, I'd been training for years in the gym, spent a lot of time on the cross trainer, on the treadmill, had no idea about even thinking about lifting up a weight until I'd watched the TV documentary.
What do you think Kevin's done for you over the past few months that you've actually known him?
Oh my gosh, huge. I couldn't imagine my life without Kevin in it, to be honest, in terms of training. I mean, having always been on the treadmill, I thought I was doing a really good thing about, you know, for my body, but it wasn't until I was introduced to resistance training and weightlifting that I've noticed such a huge change, not only in my body, positive changes, but also just generally in my lifestyle. You know, I've got so much more energy. I love the way I look. I want more of that. So everything's been positive. I can't express that enough.
But when anyone's got that kind of dedication, that kind of focus, and they want it that much, you know, you can't say no. And I think it will happen. I'm sure it will happen. I know it will happen.
Yeah, actually, can I just add to that as well? The diet, I didn't realise how much of a change that would be for me, because I was somebody, typically most women would think, oh, I won't eat too much, you know, it'll make me slim. And I spent many of my years like that. And actually, for Kevan to say to me, you need to eat this and this, at first it was a shock, and I thought, I can't consume that much food, but actually I can.
And water, that was the other thing, wasn't it?
Yeah. So that's another positive thing. You can eat so much from weight training.
The thing is, people don't, it sounds obvious, if you want to build muscle, you've got to eat food. You know, and when I tell people the amount of protein they need to consume every day, the amount of carbohydrates they need off season, the amount of water that they need every day of the year, they first look at it and they go, no, that's wrong. You know, and I said, well, you know, if it's wrong, why did you ask me in the first place? And it's only when they start doing it, and as Tony says, you start seeing the change in your body and the way that you feel and the way that you train. You say, oh yeah, he was right.
I just need the protein to make me taller. That's what I want it to do, make me grow. But that's not happening. It's making me grow that way.
We're gonna find ways to stretch her out. I don't know if we can do that. Yeah. Yeah, I knew Sean had potential. When I used to watch him train, and you know, I say to you, you can tell people have got this in them because of the way they train. And Sean trains really, really hard. The guys who were training with were very good as well. They were all training very hard. But you often find that people just need guidance. It's one thing, you know, training hard, but power is nothing without control. And Sean had a lot of power and a lot of aggression, a lot of focus, but it wasn't always done properly. So we started doing some work together, and we started seeing a change straight away. So when somebody starts changing that quickly, and you can see the potential being realised that quickly, then the natural progression is to say, right, you know, do you want to compete? Which he did. As I would say of everybody that I've coached this year, Sean's been the star. He's been the real success story, as you've seen from the before and after picture. From where he was to what he looked like. Nobody can believe that's actually a genuine picture, but I swear it is. It looks absolutely incredible.
So how does bodybuilding affect your relationships?
I think the main thing really that affects a relationship, family life, is the dieting, because you are so depleted and you know you are so committed to the diet. It can kind of pull you away from your family and your relationships kind of temporarily. But I found the thing that got me through it was the support. You know, my family were very supportive of me. My girlfriend was very supportive, particularly in the second show. We understood a lot more in the second show about what the diet would do to me, and it was more successful. It's all a big learning curve. The second show, it brought, you know, my relationship closer, a lot stronger. The family were more involved as well.
My main observation from this year is that the judging has changed a little bit, and I think for the better. I've been to quite a lot of shows. The one that stood out to me was a friend of mine called Trevor Chung runs a show in Dunstable. It's a first time show for people that have never competed before or never really achieved anything before. Trevor's show this year was excellent. The standard was superb. The guy that won the overall probably weighed less than 80 kilos. He beat several guys much bigger than him, simply because his condition was absolutely awesome. Sorry, I don't remember his name, but he looked fantastic. And I was there with a friend of mine called Richie Goodwin, and Richie and I said after, Richie said it's so good to see a show where now they're judging on condition more than size. The reason I think it's good is I think it discourages steroid use. It discourages people from thinking they've got to be a monster to be successful at bodybuilding. And you know, that's the way that it should be. You're never going to eliminate steroid use, okay? People will always use it, you know, like I do, as a dietary supplement when you're getting ready for a show. But that's fine because you can do that and you can get fantastic condition. That's why I get in such condition, you know, for an old man is, you know, quite amazing, people tell me. That's fine. It's just when people are on it all the time and trying to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So I think if bodybuilding can actually go that way, where they're saying, well, you know what, we're not really worried about who's the biggest, but what we are worried about is who's in the best condition, who we can see has done the work in the gym, who we can see has done the cardio, who we can see has stuck rigidly to the diet. They're the ones that are going to win. I think that discourages steroid use to a great extent, and I think it's better for the sport. The other thing that I've noticed this year, which has probably stood out more than anything, is the drug-free shows. The standard and quality of drug-free shows has gone through the roof. I've always had tremendous amount of respect for drug-free bodybuilders. This year, more so than ever. I've been to several drug-free shows because, you know, obviously I coach a lot of drug-free guys, I've had them competing. The standard's been through the roof. The people have been absolutely brilliant. And at the same time, the federation's testing has become, even if possible, even more stringent. One of my guys that competed in the Manchester show, he placed third, and he was tested for you know, even before he got his third placing. They were testing everybody, and I think it was great to see. So I think the two things together, the fact that the standard's gone up and the drug testing has become more stringent, all bode well for the sport. The only thing I would say is to anybody watching this right now who's thinking, yeah, I can compete, you really need to go along to a couple of these shows and see what you're going to be up against. I don't think people realise just how hard it is, and if you want to compete, if you're thinking about standing on stage against some of these people anytime soon, you really need to go there to see what they're like and realise how hard you've got to work and just how hard you've got to diet. And if you're up for the challenge, then go for it. And as I always say, if I can do anything to help you with that, then please get in touch.
To finish the whole documentary, what would you say is the highlight of your year?
The highlight of my year is not anything that I've achieved and not anything that I've achieved anybody else. I had a surreal experience at the UK BFF British Finals in Manchester. I met Sean Ray, one of my heroes, one of my all-time bodybuilding heroes, and for some reason he was on his own. It was very quiet, and we had about 10 minutes just chatting, just he and I. It was like an old friend. I'd never met the man in my life, but he greeted me like I was an old friend. He is just one of the nicest men I've ever met. And we talked about bodybuilding and the way that it's gone since his day. I mean, anybody that knows Sean will know he just had the most, I call it a beautiful physique, absolutely incredible. And we spoke about the way bodybuilding's gone, and he came up with a phrase that has stuck with me ever since then. And he said, Kev, he said, bodybuilding is turned into chemical warfare. And although it made me wince, I realised what he was saying was absolutely true. And I'm just hoping that bodybuilding can not become chemical warfare, that it can be more now about condition, more about the way people look, and not just about who's the biggest. But that was highlight of my year, spending some time with Sean. Absolutely brilliant. Not too bad for a fat old man who's off season. And that's it. That's a wrap.